So hello, welcome everybody. This is today is June 9th, and this is our, I don't know, gazillionth call for coronavirus, stress release and other stress releases that have been happening. And one of them obviously were the Black Lives Matters movements that have been really impacting people in many different ways, emotionally, spiritually, physically, very often. And we just had a brief conversation before we started the recording. We're in a very different place than we were a few months ago, aren't we? How do you experience this, and what's on your heart right now, and how can I support you?
Sad, it's taking too long.
What is taking too long?
This process with the virus.
Is it unexpected too long?
For me, yeah.
Did you thought it's going to be over sooner? Yeah. What were your thoughts?
I know it's not logical. Will I ever be able to come back home? My life will be the same, peaceful? My son's classmate came back from Philadelphia to live in Port Washington and Long Island because someone was shot near where he lives, and shooting is happening.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's really sad. Really sad.
Yeah, it is very sad. Do you guys feel like you lost your life? The old life's over, and the new life, we don't even know what that is. Does somebody feel like that? Or do you feel like, where are you at?
Yeah, kind of.
I have to be honest, I don't feel like that. But again, I live in a very safe area. So, this week I went to the supermarket for the first time by myself with a mask on, and then I went to the hardware store, and then there was a rally for Black Lives. And I thought, well, the organizers had us stand 6 feet apart. We all had masks. And I thought, well, the supermarket can't be any worse than that. So I went to that. And so I feel like there's this sort of, for me, a slow, safe opening. I'm only doing what I feel safe to do. Still not ready to go to a friend's house and sit in their living room next to them on the couch. And then there's the other part of me that sees so many people on the street that it's actually heartwarming to me. And I feel sad, and I'm sorry that George had to die and the world had to watch it, but I feel like it had to happen. And now to see how it's just spread, and not the violent part, that's nutsy stuff, but the peaceful marches, I feel hopeful, actually.
We can't go back, that's for sure.
No.
That's for sure. It's starting to be really cool to be Black.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
You notice that? Kind of like Black people now have a right to speak, and white people may talk if invited, but please only in a way that's appropriate. And I think that's just about time. It's an interesting thing. But it's very emotional. There's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys remember Elaine. She's in a assisted living place or a safe living place
in Georgia.
Yes, her brother just passed from COVID the day after our last class. So either last Tuesday or last Wednesday. So he and his partner, they both had it. It hits home when that happens. So we have to learn how to be strong with that. And at the same time, we all have our personal challenges as well, right? And they're a big deal. And life goes on in a certain way. Osreli, you're crying over there. I'm sorry.
I'm crying, but it's like it was a good cry when you said it's cool to be black.
It's what?
Heartwarming cry when you said it's cool to be black.
It is cool to be black.
Yeah, that's what
right?
made me cry in a good way.
Yeah, it's about time. It is about time. Even though now we're talking about black people, and I'm thinking about at the same time, there's a lot of hate going towards, and I even think it's just rude to even talk about skin color. It's really a weird way to talk about somebody. Is she okay? At the same time, we have all the Asian people now that are being really discriminated against. Blamed for a virus. It's like, are you kidding me right now? So we'll always find somebody we have a problem with. Should probably have a problem with ourselves first. But okay, so what would you like to tap on? What would help today? What would be helpful to you to get through where we're at right now and to get to the next stage in your life?
I would like to be okay with that, me not being able to go back home on July 2nd and enjoy my grandkids.
Yeah.
Since 1995, I never had an opportunity to stay longer here than 2.5 months. Now I'm almost half a year. It's a blessing at some point. I have 6
What is it like to be back home for so long? Does it feel normal to you? Does it feel like reconnecting with your roots?
No, I don't know. Feels strange.
It still feels strange.
Feels strange, yeah. Yeah, I enjoy all these things, like I saw spring coming. I saw these flowers usually grows in spring in the forest, and it was like, yeah, it was nice, except the quarantine, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't be with people I love and would like to connect, but now it's changing. So,
okay.
strange.
We need to help you over there, my dear. All right. Courage, point. Even though I'm so disappointed.
I'm so disappointed.
I don't have control over this.
I don't have control over it.
I really wanted to leave July 2nd.
I really wanted to leave July 2nd.
I don't know why they keep canceling my flights.
I don't know why they keep canceling those flights.
They keep keeping me here.
They keep keeping me here.
Against my will.
Against my will.
And I should be able to change that, and I can't.
And I should be able to change.
And I can't.
And I can't.
And I'm really upset about that.
And I'm really upset about that.
I don't know how to not be upset about that.
I don't know how to not be upset about that.
But I love and accept myself anyways.
But I love and accept myself anyways.
And even though this is not what I wanted.
And even though this is not what I wanted.
And chances are that the majority of people who live through this crisis
that the majority of people who live through this crisis
are not living the way they wanted to.
Not living the way they wanted to.
For some, it's completely devastatingly life-changing.
For some, it's completely devastating, life-changing.
In ways they never imagined.
In the ways they never imagined.
And I'm one of them.
And I'm one of them.
Because I want to go home and I can't.
I want to go home and I can't.
I don't want to be in Lithuania for so long.
I don't want to be in Lithuania for so long.
There's a reason I left.
That's the reason I left.
That reason's still valid.
Yeah, still.
I like it, but I don't love it.
I like it, but I don't love it.
It's not home anymore.
Not home anymore. Yeah.
Not the way it used to be.
Not the way it used to be. I don't have a home here.
Yeah.
I'm at somebody's mercy.
Yeah. And even though I'm at somebody's mercy.
Even though I'm at somebody's mercy.
Just like I always wanted to be.
Just like I always wanted to be.
So I'm alone in a strange way.
So I'm not alone in a strange way.
Not physically alone,
Not physically alone,
but in my life I feel alone.
but in my life, I feel alone.
Because I can't live my life right now.
Because I can't live my life right now. It's like,
I'm making compromises all day long.
yeah, I'm making compromises all day long.
And I'm fed up with that.
And I'm fed up with that.
Big time.
Big time. Yeah.
I am so fed up with that.
I'm so fed up with that.
This is not who I am.
This is not who I am.
It isn't who I am.
It isn't who I am.
So how am I supposed to get through this?
So how am I supposed to get through this?
I choose now
I choose now
to take it one step at a time
to take it one step at a time
and find unusual solutions.
and to find unusual solutions.
Creative ones.
Creative ones.
Surprising ones.
Surprising ones.
Solutions that work for me.
Solutions that work for me.
And that I didn't see coming.
And I didn't see coming.
I'm fed up with this.
I'm fed up with this.
This is not who I am.
This is not who I am.
This is not what I want.
This is not what I want.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it.
I've had enough of this.
I had enough of this.
And they keep canceling my flight.
And I keep canceling my
A
flight.
$2,000 8-hour flight.
$2,000 8-hour flight.
Shame on them.
Shame on that.
Somebody's going to get me home.
Somebody's gonna get me home.
Who would have ever thought?
What?
Who would have ever thought?
Who would ever thought? Who
That
would ever
that in the 21st century,
that in the 21st century
something like this is even possible?
something like this is even possible?
This is surreal.
This is surreal.
It's very 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 surreal.
Very surreal.
And I don't know how to deal with it.
And I don't know how to deal with that. And there is a thought came to my head
Okay.
that now I feel like back in Soviet times where borders were closed and you weren't allowed to leave. And this is probably because it's not the end of the world and I really feel like overreacting.
Well, even though I know very much.
Even though I know very much.
From experience.
From experience.
What it's like to be trapped.
How it's like to be trapped.
Not allowed to leave.
And not allowed to leave.
I remember the Soviet Union times.
I remember those Soviet Union times.
How brutal they were to me.
How brutal they were to me.
These were very tough times.
These were very tough times.
And we did not have choices.
And we did not have choices.
We needed to keep our mouth shut.
We needed to keep our mouth shut.
We needed to not stick our heads out.
We needed not to stick our heads out.
We needed to keep our secrets to ourselves.
We needed to keep our secrets to ourselves.
There was no free speech.
There was no free speech.
There was danger lurking.
There was danger.
We couldn't leave.
We couldn't leave.
And here I am again.
And here I am again.
Afraid of a government.
Afraid of the government.
Not being able to leave.
Not being able to leave.
Being threatened by a virus.
Threatened by a virus.
And possibly by a political system.
And possibly by a political system.
Who knows?
Who knows?
True?
You never know with the neighbor, with the big neighbor.
You just never know.
You just never know.
And I'm having a strong reaction to that.
And I'm having a strong reaction to that.
Because I grew up knowing things.
Because I grew up knowing things.
That a lot of people don't know.
That a lot of people don't know.
They don't know what it's really like.
They don't know what it's really like.
And I have a massive flashback right now.
I'm having a massive flashback right now.
A massive flashback.
Massive flashback.
They don't know what it's really like.
They don't know what it's really like.
And I just want to leave.
I just want to leave.
And go back home.
And go back home. Oh, it was... how to say, releasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's still different times, not the times it used to be. And now when I understand better why I feel like really unsettled and, virus is not coming. We will conquer it sooner or later. It won't stay for 50 years around.
It's a very strange time. It's a very strange time for sure. Yeah, I mean, in Germany, we experienced it a little bit. We talked about it, and whenever we traveled across the border into the different Eastern countries, as we used to call them, yeah, it's history that we're very familiar with. And you see parallels sometimes in more ways than you would.
Both ways, we couldn't leave and the people couldn't come.
They couldn't come, I know.
Only on like very special occasions, someone was allowed to come in.
Yeah. So how do you feel now?
Prison. I'm feeling much better, and you will figure out something.
You figure something out. You look international. You look into European flights. See how you can get out first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you'll see from where you can. Barcelona, for example, has really good connections, and it's very cheap to fly into. So see if you can make that hop over from where you are to a place like that with, I don't know if Ryanair flies to Lithuania, but figure it out. You find a way. If you want to leave, you will find a way. It's my point. Okay.
Or I stay and leave later.
And if there's a bus involved, then that's what you do.
Yeah, there's lots of possibilities.
You can figure it out. You're a tough woman.
I traveled the world last year. I can't believe it. Yeah, last year I circled around the world. I left from New York, went to Australia, then went to Europe, and then back to New York.
I know. Times have changed quickly. Huh?
And
yeah,
it's really weird, but
it is
okay.
Very strange. Absolutely. Absolutely. What else is going through your minds right now, Barb?
Well, I'm just thinking of what you said earlier, maybe Israeli would be safer if you stayed there till September. How do you feel about that?
I feel that the thing is I need to make a decision and know, okay, in September I'm leaving. Like right now, like it's so uncertain. I make a decision, okay, now it's this time, and they cancel again. And like it makes you feel like unsafe. But if I decide to stay until September, I think my son will survive. And and we'll go. Nothing will happen. Most of my clients live here, and they're happy I'm trapped. Someone is happy I'm trapped here. So,
well,
yeah.
could you rent a place if you don't want to stay with your son?
Oh, you mean with my daughter? My son is in New York. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can even go to the place where my mother-in-law used to live, and stay with my husband if I want. We can stay by the lake. Yeah, there are lots of places. I was thinking about that. Maybe my daughter got tired of me. 5 months. It's still someone, like.
Think about that.
Sometimes yelling. Sometimes,
okay, so your job, my
yelling,
dear.
Sometimes interrupting. Saying, oh,
yeah. Well, your job, my dear, is to find a way to make this a really cool time.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the end of the day, you will never get this back.
I know.
There's something very special about reconnecting with your roots. After many years away for very different reasons, just go back and say, you know what? I have the freedom to be in either place right now. I will get out of this something that I didn't know I could get when I was first lived there. It's sometimes nice to come back from a place of freedom and come back and just clean some things up. So, that makes sense. How do you guys feel about this? Barb, now, what are you thinking? Rich, what are you thinking?
You know, part of the reason I come to this group is because I get to see it through different eyes. You know, I only know my own little spot. So it helps me to see a bigger picture of COVID, a bigger picture of how people are coping, and gives me a breath. So like, I can't totally identify with your situation. I didn't grow up. Yeah, I grew up here, you know. So I can't. So it's even a little hard for me to tap on and say the words. But on the other hand, what we're talking about here is control. We all want control, and when it's taken away from us, we don't really know what to do. And yet you can stand in one place and do nothing, or try to find a creative way to get, or even get clear. A lot of the times I don't even know what I really want. I want this and I want this, and they conflict. And so, you know, my heart wants something, my head wants something different. So as you tap on your situation, I'm starting to apply it to other things where I want it to be this way, but it can't be. So what can I do? And when I hear, Ingrid, you say, what can you, if you can change it, what can you do to make the best out of it? Not only just the best, but something new that you couldn't have. Just planting that in my head gives me bigger tools for another time, you know.
We have to find out where our freedom is right now. Yeah. Because we may not be able to find it where it used to be. You know, we may not have the freedom to go to a restaurant. For a lot of people, it's like, oh my God, you know, you see this on Facebook. What are you going to do as soon as you know, everything's over? People literally said, I get my nails done. You know, oh, I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to go to a restaurant. You know, do we actually understand how freaking superficial that is? Like, how much less can we possibly say when it comes to personal freedom? What are you going to do? I get my hair done, I get my nails done, I'm going to go and eat in a restaurant. Is that really how we define freedom? Is that really how we define personal growth and love and caring for each other, by going to a restaurant and getting our nails done? There's nothing wrong with going to restaurants and getting nails done. I understand that, right? But if that's what comes to mind, luxury, we really have some growing up to do. And I know nobody here is in that category, but I've seen this all the time. People just bitching about the restaurants and bitching about the thing. And maybe some of us have the luxury of being able to leave the house. I have friends in New York City who haven't seen the street in months. That's very different from how many of us live, right? I don't have that problem. So maybe that's entitled. But yeah, Nell. Now we can't hear you. No, you need to unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. I forgot. For me, I think of getting nails done and getting your hair done as a surrogate for the grooming that other primates do all the time. And I think that when so many people, you know, when you're young, you have recently created spouses touching you and babies touching you and a lot of physical touch. And especially older women, I think, don't get touched very much. And I think to go and have somebody else wash their hair when they can wash their own hair, heaven's sakes. But that it's, I think they're really talking about a more basic need than getting their hair tinted. Just my thought.
That's one option. Yes, that is one option. I think guess the groups that I looked into were not really in that category. They were more younger women.
Oh, probably who were thinking
30s.
about their appearance. And
so again, interesting, right? Everybody sees this very differently, and I get it. Having a real social connection is super, super important. Thinking about what was the name? Lived in Brooklyn, couldn't leave.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Do you remember last week?
I don't remember the name.
She's already a senior, and the neighbors came in sometimes, and then they were overstepping boundaries and whatnot. I mean, it's a totally different situation being by yourself in an apartment, but we have to learn how to set new priorities and how to find new things in life that make us happy, and that is brutally difficult. Rich, how is this for you?
It's been a struggle, after the lockdown. I'm a pretty isolated person, and I enjoy my solitude.
Mm.
But as soon as things locked down, I was like a little child. I want to go out and hug somebody,
Yeah.
And things are coming alive now, I was able to get out to a restaurant, which is a luxury.
With your daughter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
Had a nice meal, and the next day I fretted. I was worried about, oh, gee, was I contaminated? Was I wearing pants? It's been strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. I had my episode yesterday. I watched my grandson's ship depart for the Far East.
Oh, wow.
And it just brought back memories of my own experience. Isolated and alone and under the control of the military, yada, 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 and in danger at times. And all I could do was think about myself till I shifted over to him and did some surrogate tapping on his behalf. I just hope he maintains his self-control and stays safe and does not become overwhelmed by fear and anxiety and deprivation, whatever. So yeah. So it's been a struggle for me recently. This morning I woke up and I'd like to tune into my favorite radio station for the news. It was dead. So I shifted over to my alternate station and it was dead. And I thought, oh my God, has it started already? The Soviet lockdown? I can truly relate to Australia in that fear. But it turned out to be a power outage on one of the mountains nearby where all the broadcast towers were. So life is back to somewhat normal right now, and I feel pretty damn good. But, it's like the tide. It comes in, it goes. I have anxiety, I have worry, fear, and the next day I'm good. So it's a roller coaster recently.
Do you guys notice that days are very different emotionally?
mm-hmm.
Physically as well. For me, physically is a big deal right now. I don't even know what's going on. So, Rich, how can we help you? This is the ship this is your son's ship, is that correct? Your nephew has just left a little while ago, right?
Grandson.
Your grandson has, wait a minute, who left yesterday is your grandson?
Yes.
Wow.
So
that hits home, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Mm.
But I'm sure he will prevail, and just continue to think the best and highest for him.
Yeah. Come on, let's tap on that.
Just returned. It had been out to sea for 269 days.
You have been out to sea 269 days?
No, there was a ship that returned, or that is returning soon, that has been out to sea for, that period of time. And wow.
Wow.
I can imagine those people are going to have to take some time to reintegrate and from my experience, might have been out for a couple of months or whatever, and away from home for 4 years or whatever, and really overdid it when I came home. You know, partied too hard. You know, just the self-care that wasn't too appropriate for a young guy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing well today, Ingrid. In fact, every morning I go through my tapping routine and build up my courage and facing the other day, the new day. So
Yeah.
I'm doing well, but I truly appreciate people sharing their concerns.
Well, I think it's just helpful to know what everybody's going through.
Oh,
you
yes.
know, not to compare wounds and not to find out who has it worse than the other, but just to say, hey, you know what? How do we keep our head on our shoulders right now? You know, what what does that look like? And I think that right now the times are really asking for us to just develop the muscle to dig a little deeper.
Yes, indeed.
Right? And that's really, this is not about solution finding. A lot of these things, the solutions will come when they're there, and before that, they're just not there. You know, everybody right now is screaming vaccine. You know, there's so many questions about that. And I don't even mean the medical part of it. I mean a whole lot of other things, right? And there's no solution. We need to find a way to dig deeper and embrace life. Sometimes that can be very difficult, especially in isolation or when you're in severe pain. You can just wonder. And a lot of people are telling me this right now, that a lot of people are just checking out. I don't know if you've seen this in your, with your friends. I know Israeli, you just had 2 loved ones leave. You know, a lot of people they're just done. They just say, hey, I've done my digging. I'm going, I'm heading out. It's really almost like that. Then others dig deeper, and sometimes digging deeper is the harder choice. It's just so much work, and we don't know if there's a guarantee that it does anything. And we have to make that decision anyways. Are we going to dig deeper and figure it out, even if there's no guarantee? Or are we just going to call it a day in some fashion, whatever that means, you know, whether that means physically leaving or emotionally checking out, resigning, freaking out. You know, some people, they, instead of digging deeper, they just freak out. They just smash windows, you know, or do whatever else. You know, I was always angry about this, and boom, now it comes out. And other people see this as a huge potential for growth, right? And the choice is ours, but we need to make it. It does not get, it just does not come in easy right now. So when you said you hope that he keeps his cool and stays in self-control, I think that's really where we're all at right now. Rich, let's step through this a little bit. Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah. What do you think? What bothers you the most right now?
Bad hair. Just kidding. No, I'm doing pretty well.
You should get your nails done.
Yeah. I would just like to look forward to
just
back
get a little mani-pedi and get the hair figured out, and then go to a restaurant and you'll be fine. That's what you need.
Yeah. And
yeah.
See my grandson come home safe and sound.
Yeah.
And sane.
And the sane part is the worst part for you, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And why is that?
Oh, just been there, done that. You know,
yeah. Okay.
I don't want to recall those periods of intense fear and anger and whatever bothers us. So, equanimity, that's the word.
Say again?
Equanimity.
Equanimity?
Right.
What does it mean for the Germans in the room?
Take everything in equal measures, you know, the joy, the fear, the anger.
Okay.
And one fellow I follow on Facebook, was a Navy SEAL, and he recounts his experience when he was going through some, really heavy training. And he affirmed at the time that he was 20 times stronger than he thinks he is. That's pretty inspiring to me. So I have to do that myself. And here I am, I'm still breathing and alive.
I don't know if you're even aware how much strength it takes to be you.
Yeah, sure, everybody here.
Right, there are a lot of people who don't have that strength. Right, and that's just should be proof.
Yes,
we know each other for a little bit. I have so much respect for this man. You have no idea. He's quite something. Let's tap. Let's get you out of this. How about it?
All right.
Okay, good. Karate chop point. Even though I've been there.
Been there.
I know what it takes.
I know what it takes.
I know how hard it is to cope.
I know how hard it is to cope.
I know how this can mess with your head.
I know how this can mess up with your head.
Even if you think you're prepared.
Even if you're prepared.
And I'm very worried about him right now.
I'm very worried about him. Right.
I don't want him to have to go through what I've been through.
That's very true.
I don't want him.
I don't want him
to have to go through what I've been through and stay with me, okay? Just stay with me. It's okay. I got you.
I'm staying with you.
All right. And even though this sucks.
Even though this sucks.
And I don't want him to have to go through what I've been through.
And I don't want him to go through what I've been through.
And there's a really good chance that he won't.
There's a very good chance he won't.
But I'm having every flashback I can come up with right now.
I'm having every flashback.
And this is really, really hard for me.
It's been really hard for me.
People will never understand what I've been through.
People will never understand what we've been through.
It's huge.
It is huge.
It is huge.
It is huge.
And I'm not going to go there.
And I ain't going to go there.
Not in a way that doesn't serve me.
Not in a way that doesn't serve me.
But in a way that does serve me.
But in a way that does serve me.
Just releasing some blocks.
Just what?
Releasing some blocks.
Just releasing some blocks.
After all that was then and this is now.
After all that was then and this is now.
And I'm here.
And I'm here.
And even though this messed with my head.
Even though this messed with my head.
I'm very concerned that it happens to him too.
I'm very concerned that it doesn't happen to him.
The truth might be.
The truth might be.
That it messed with my head in a different way than I thought it would.
That it messed with my head in a different way than I thought it would.
After all, I'm still here.
After all, here I am.
And I've learned a lot.
And I've learned a lot.
I've saved a lot of lives because of this.
Perhaps I have.
I have saved a lot of lives.
I have saved some lives.
I just kept going.
And I just kept going.
And my wounds allowed me to do that.
And my wounds allowed me to do that.
Because there was no other way to heal.
So there's no other way to heal.
Than to serve another person.
Than to serve another person.
True?
True.
So here I am.
Here I am.
Taking on one hell of a mission.
Taking on another mission.
And it's one hell of a mission.
It's one hell of a mission.
Using my own wounds.
Using my own wounds.
To make sure other people don't have to go through this.
To make sure other people don't have to go through this.
And if they understand me. If they understand me and they've been through what I've been through.
If they understand.
At least I can get them out now.
At least I can help get them out now.
And I've helped a lot of people get out.
People get out.
I have those skills.
Those skills.
I kept learning.
I kept learning.
I kept growing.
I kept going.
I never shook all my wounds.
I never shook out my wounds,
but I used them to help another person.
but I've used them to help another person.
And every single one of them,
I'll remain silent. You just go ahead and guide me.
okay, remembers me
And everyone remembers me
with gratitude.
with gratitude.
Maybe I don't remember them.
Maybe I don't remember them.
Maybe I don't remember their names
Maybe I don't remember their names
or their faces
or their faces
or what exactly happened to them.
or what exactly happened to them.
Because we just met and I did what I needed to do.
We just met and I did what I needed to do.
But they all remember me
They all remember me
fondly,
fondly,
with gratitude,
with gratitude,
with deep respect,
respect.
sometimes with disbelief,
Sometimes it's skepticism and disbelief,
honoring me
honoring me
for my commitment to a stranger.
for my commitment to a stranger.
I've earned their respect
I've earned their respect
and they remember me.
and they remember me.
And if I was to remember who they were,
And if I was to remember who they were,
and they started lining up outside my door,
and they started lining upside my door,
every single person whose life I've touched
every single person whose life I touched
over the years,
over the years,
that I was fighting my own fights,
that I was fighting my own fight,
chances are
chances are
it would be a very, very long line of people
it would be a very long line of people
going around the block,
going around the block,
and the next block,
and the next block,
and the block after,
and the block after,
honoring me
honoring me
with gratitude and respect.
with gratitude and respect, as I honor them with gratitude and respect.
The same way I see them with gratitude and respect.
The same way I see them with gratitude and respect.
The same way I honor my own heroes.
In the same way I honor my own heroes.
And that line would go around the blocks,
Around the block,
quite a few blocks.
quite a few blocks.
When I look at my life this way,
When I look at my life this way,
I wonder how I did it. I wonder how I did it.
I wonder how I did it.
After all this has messed with my head.
After all this has messed with my head and my
It has
heart,
messed with my soul.
with my soul,
It has messed with my mind.
and my mind,
In more ways than I might even understand.
in more ways than I might understand.
And yet I did that.
Yet I did that.
I never quit.
I never quit.
I always care.
I always cared.
I always worry. And I'm still fighting for something that's important to me.
I'm still fighting for something that's important to me.
And whatever allows me to do that
Whatever allows me to do that
makes me a really big deal.
is a real big deal.
And that's what the people tell me,
And that's what folks tell me
that are lined up outside,
as they lined up outside.
6 feet apart.
Excuse me, 6 feet apart.
With a mask on
Properly masked.
and a beer in the hand.
And on the other hand,
And that line's going around the block.
that line's going around the block.
And I can see them looking at me,
And I can see them looking at me.
saying, thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother. I'll share something with you in a private message from an experience 20, 30 years ago. That is just like what you're conveying now. It was really beautiful. So I'll message you on Facebook, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ingrid. That was beautiful. And thank you for all the help you
We got
provided
you.
me and others.
And he's going to be okay.
He will
You
be
know,
okay.
He's gonna go his own journey. And if you feel like this is messing with his head, you let me know next year or whenever he's coming home.
Okay, thank you.
You just let me know and we'll put him back together.
All right.
But he has you to look up to. He knows how it's done.
Yes, he does.
Right? And he knows that it can be done. And nobody comes back unchanged, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing.
That's true. Thank you, Ingrid.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, I think I've muted everybody because I wanted to make sure that let me just unmute you. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, Barb, you're open to. Any thoughts, any feedback?
Yeah, again, I don't have a grandson going to anywhere. I don't have the same kind of worries and fears. But what is so helpful is just to realize that we're all this old and we've all touched 1 million people we don't even know we've touched. And when you take time to think about that, you begin to feel a little bit of your own worth instead of the usual, I'm not enough, I didn't do it right, or whatever. At least that's where my head always goes. This really helps you, I think, appreciate each one of us and the effect that just our lives have had on, even not anything necessarily done on purpose, but just by our mere being.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you for your wisdom.
I agree. All of you have saved lives. Every single one of you on this call has saved lives, and severely, sincerely. And sometimes you may just say it this is like an example, like, let me just tell you this amazing thing happened, and oh my God, it happened, and la la la. But, and that's all good, but there's the other side to that. If you hadn't done this, who knows where that person would be today, right? And that's why I encourage everybody to step up and just work through whatever you think makes you feel small, or not ready, or whatever. Because it's really, if something holds you back, it's time to let that go. We are really in this time. And I don't even know, when I said this time of Christ, I don't even know which one I'm talking about right now, because we have so many, we can just pick one. And they're all, I mean, just, there's this thing going around that we have, the Spanish flu and the Great Depression. And then we have, who knows what we have. It's crazy. And we have our personal stuff too. But yeah, we just need it out there is the point. And this is not this fancy thinking. This is really like, okay, how much longer are we going to stay down and watch people suffer? When are we going to get rid of this feeling of not being good enough, or not being ready, or not knowing enough, and just leave the damn bunker, go out in the streets and pull somebody into safety? Right? You really, if you saw this on a physical level, it's kind of like that. Right? Imagine that people lying around on the street not knowing what to do, and you say, well, I'm not a really good athlete. I'm not sure if I can help them. I think I should probably go work out for a few weeks and then go back out. And if you're still there, I'm probably going to be better at it than I am right now. That's what people are doing. And then they have the hopes up that at some point in the future, maybe if something changes that they don't even know what is, and hopefully it's going to be easy, this problem will take care of itself, and it never does. Mm-hmm. It never does. The problem does not take care of itself. We either step up or we stay stuck. It is that way. This does not take care of itself, and that's a really big deal. So, yeah, and on top of that, everybody has problems they would have if none of this was happening on the outside, right? And it's important to honor that too. For a lot of us, COVID is not the biggest problem. It's just what keeps us inside. It's location for a lot of people. right? So, yeah.
The other thing you said, or Richard said, was, I think it was you, is because of our wounds, because of our own personal wounds, our impact or our empathy can be so much greater. Rather than looking at that wound and still moaning about it, realize that it's been something that makes us more able to be of service.
And to be of service of ourselves and to find a point of view. You know, a lot of the things we're talking about really have to do with finding a new point of view about our life. You know, very often it's a matter of growing up and stopping to believe that everything's going to be okay. And just letting that go. What if it's not? What are we going to do now? Right? What if it's not going to be okay? Are we going to shoot ourselves in the head now? Or are we going to find a different way of defining okay as something that is still that we still have the freedom to do? Does that make sense? Right? What if, I think this is something a lot of people are struggling with right now, is to say, well, what is this new normal? And they look around, they don't really know. And I don't really know. Right? But the new normal is definitely not going to look like the old normal. So now what? And we have to figure this out somehow. So it's an interesting thing, huh? What are your thoughts? What do we want to tap on? I hope this is not depressing. I hope, you know, I just think it's realistic, you know, because if we find an answer to that our new normal may have not have that much to do with where we came from, but where we choose to go to, what we choose to do next, what we choose to do with how much ever life we have and whatever that looks like and wherever we're going to be, we all of a sudden have a lot of control again, right? For me, being online is the only thing I can do right now. I can't walk. My feet are so inflamed. I cannot walk. I cannot step. Okay, I have to make a conscious decision if I get up and put weight on my feet. And the same thing's true for my hands. I can hardly hold anything, you know. So when you do that, what can you do? How can you reach out? This is a wonderful way of reaching out and making a difference. It's one of many, right? All of us can do that. But really, you have your clients right now, right where you live, right? For crying out loud, make them line up around the corner. Get more people. Hold a tally. How many people can I bless during the time that I'm here? Set yourself some goals. Say, if I haven't touched 10 people's lives every day that I'm here, I haven't reached my mark. Make this the biggest, most positive, amazing thing that you've ever done for your country of origin, for yourself, for your heritage, for the healing of it all. You are in an environment where you understand two worlds. Not everybody does that. A lot of people only knew the world where you live right now, or they know the world that the rest of us is living right now. You know both. You can talk both languages. You can be, you know, a translator for them, painting a bigger picture in the circumstances they're in. You can help them heal. You understand what it's like to go through that. Right? And having another 3 months to do that can be a really wonderful opportunity.
Yep.
It's not what you wanted to do, but hey, and you come home and you don't have COVID and you helped a lot of people and it's all good. New York City will still be there in September. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, I hope so. No flood predicted. And I can even go and get massage here.
Well, that takes care of that.
Most likely I won't be able.
So the point really is dig deeper into your roots. There's a reason you're there. And the reason might just be that they need you. They don't let you go yet.
Yeah. Yes, Ingrid, it was really helpful. I really have like, yeah, okay, we'll see.
Well,
even if it's September. It's okay.
well, and we don't know that, you know, you can still find out other ways, but make up your mind. What do you want to do with this, with the years that you have? You know, when you look at what have I learned, when you tell your kids, your grandkids, why this was a transformational moment, what you learned and what you did with it for the years to come, what do you want that story to be? Right?
Right?
Barbara and Nell, what do you want that story to be? We can use it for personal healing, or we can use it to bless another's life through personal healing, and right? We can choose to be some of those folks that just reach out and do something special in whichever way that is. And whatever happened to us, just like Richard is teaching us, you know, with all the crap he's been through, this allows him to talk to people that would never talk to me, because they need somebody with his insights in order to be able to talk. Same thing for all of you. You all have a certain energy and people need you and listen to you. Right?
Right.
Barbara, keep writing.
And you, Ingrid, were right. I remember, as you said, you know, like when this quarantine will be over, people will need us, and they do. They found out that I'm stuck here. They happy. They coming more and more. I wish. Yes, I understand.
What do you mean you wish?
I wish maybe not that sometimes I wish I won't work too hard, but sometimes I want to help more than, you know, my personal rest.
So wait a minute, you have too many people that want to work with you, or you're not making enough money working with them?
I have. See, there is like, I can do only as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's tiring, you know, it's tiring. The sessions are tiring. And even it's good to have money and help people, but I'm limited. So my task now will be like to balance.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
but they really coming in, you know, with the wounds, with the problems.
yeah, but you promise you're taking them on.
I'm trying to work on it.
You are. If you are tired after a session, you're taking on their wounds.
Yes, I'm tired
Okay?
of it.
And that is not okay. Because they need you to not take on their wounds. Otherwise, there are two people carrying wounds, which means we just doubled up the pain.
I know.
Okay. So for whatever reason you believe, and maybe that's the reason you're there, for whatever reason you believe that you need to feel their pain, you need to really understand where that comes from and do something about that. Okay? When you work with a client, you go to a happy place. You go to a place of honesty and integrity and a happy place. Whether they heal or not is none of your business. That's their choice, not yours. You can't make they don't want to do. And if you think you know better for them, you're probably the wrong practitioner. They have a choice to do whatever they need to do. You can just open the doors, and you have to make a stand. You have to be clear on where you want to stand when you work with somebody. And if they want to drag you in a direction you don't want to go, then you need to say, you know, I'm right here, and you tell me if you want to be there or not. And some people will say yes, and some people will say no. And that's what you need to do so that everybody can have free will. Don't take on their things.
I'm not kind of taking on their things, but I still feel tired. Yeah, it was a long time ago when I wanted them to heal more than they did. No, it's so these times are over, but I still feel tired.
So you may want to find out, is that because you want them to understand and respect you? With the woo-woo weirdo stuff that you do? If you want to be successful, if you define success, or if it's a completely different thing that I don't even know about. Figure that out. Okay. If you want to talk about this privately, we can set up a time and figure out if that's something you need to do. Okay, I don't know that, but you really want to dig deep. Other than that, it's important for you guys right now. See, the reason I have the Tuesday group is because there are a lot of people that need help, and I needed to get this organized in a way that I can say, hey, if you need help and that's all you need right now, Tuesdays at noon, right? And that's a wonderful way of serving people, of helping people, of doing something in a way that works for me and them, right? And you guys might have to do that too. If you feel overwhelmed with everything that's going on, you decide on a place and a time and a format, and then invite people to that specific time. And then you can go all out and do whatever you need to do. There's a little bit of a business coaching aspect in that as well. You know, you need to decide what that looks like. And if there are a whole bunch of people that just curious what you do, get them all together in a room and give them a presentation, 6 feet apart with a mask on. Right?
We don't have to wear masks anymore.
I would still not leave the house without, but you know what I mean. So we're talking about personal freedom right now. We're talking about digging deeper. We're talking about creating a new normal. We're talking about thinking ahead about what do we want this to be for us right now? What do we want this to look like? What is this? How can this time that we're in right now possibly be a blessing? The most important time, the most transformational time, the most challenging time, something that allowed us to step into something we never thought we could do. Yeah, Barb.
I wanted to give an example that's just been wonderful for us. We have poetry groups. We're all poets, not rhymey, sweet poetry, but poetry about reality, etc. And we've had 3 groups, and when COVID hit, we couldn't meet, and so we are meeting through Zoom. All 3 continue to meet, and the cool part is that because of this, we are allowed to bring in people that left. You know, someone that moved to Philadelphia can share. Someone who came to Baltimore. Last night, we invited someone from Ireland. So, I mean, who could have ever thought that was possible? And it's just been wonderful because it's people sharing their words, sharing their feelings, and meeting new people, hearing their stories. It's not quite the same as doing therapy and helping people, but in its own way, it's healing. And I could have never guessed that I'd be having a friend in Dublin. So yeah, it's been cool.
It is cool. You guys, what else do you need? Maybe we can close a little bit earlier today. Nell, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to share something I was going to share before, which maybe doesn't have the breadth of what Barbara was talking about, but something that's happened for me recently. When I retired almost a year ago, I felt like I needed to put one part of my life behind me, but now people are calling me to consult on ecological things, and it turns out that I may be able to do, well, I am doing consulting work and getting paid for it for stuff that I love to do and I'm good at. So now I can have 2 careers at once.
It's called living your life to the fullest, darling.
Yeah.
It's called doing all the things you love to do and the way you love to do them, when and how and whatnot. And, you know, we may want to remember before all this started, I don't know if that was true for you as well, but for me, I felt like I can manifest in a split second. I need it and I get it. It was so profound. For example, if I needed to get anything, I could go to Facebook, to a marketplace Facebook, and they would offer it for pennies on the dollar. Crazy stuff. And that just happened again the other day, right? We get this, we had this project, and then we went out, and then, oh my God, how are we going to do that? And then all of a sudden, boom, Facebook Live, Facebook Marketing, boom, somebody gave us the whole thing for a fraction, right? We can still manifest, is my point. The only difference now is that the parameters for manifestation have changed. Okay, we don't have very little to play with anymore. Okay, we can't say, give me a better haircut, because we can't get a haircut. We need to really make up our own minds now, not just how to improve things, but actually how to create things. Does that make sense? There's so much up in the air right now that we need to make up our own minds how we want the Black Lives Matter movement, for example, to turn out. We need to think this through. Nobody will tell us that. Nobody knows at this point, right? We need to think through how we want to protect our health now and in the future. Nobody will tell us that, right? Nobody can tell us. We need to think through what kind of relationships we want to have and how we're going to organize that. That's a very personal decision, right? The parameter of the stuff we need to work with, or we have to work with, has completely changed. Nobody tells us what to do anymore. They tell us to stay home, wear a mask, and be quiet. Wait it out, or go out and spend your money, right? But that's kind of it. There is very little other stuff, and we really need to meditate on this a little bit. If my life was different from now on, what would I like this to be? What would I really want? What would be really nice for me? If I was the creator of the future, what would I create? We all know the things that were broken, but it's not about the things that are broken. It's about the things we want. We spend way too much time thinking about the things that don't work. But if somebody put a microphone in our hand and gave us the power to change this into what we want, most of us would probably just go, right? Which is one reason why so much energy right now is focused on very small people of political influence. Because they carry all our fears, all our anger, all our this is not fairs. And they keep us away from an idea of doing something better, because we're so busy fighting something we don't want that we don't spend enough time thinking about what we do want. And that makes people hopeless. Does that make sense? So think about that. What would you want your life to be like? What do you want? What kind of people? What kind of, circumstance? What kind of daily routine? What works for you? Who would you like to connect with? Whose help would you need? Who would you like to help? Think this through. Start to finish. Really spend some hours walking in the woods or sitting at the kitchen table. I don't know how you do it. Think this through. You have the right and the responsibility to think this through right now. Right? Does that make sense? Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Do more. Seriously, right? Because we are manifestors. We can create what we want. Make sense? How do you feel? Should we tap on this? And you're free to disagree. You don't need to take if you don't agree. It's just my point of view, and then you may disagree with it.
I'd be happy to tap on that.
What would you like to tap on?
Well, when I look around me here, I've manifested a heck of a lot in the last couple of decades. And it's awesome. And yet there are other things that I look at and I go, oh, but I can't really do that. That's not going to happen. So, And for me, I think that's the biggest thing is that I'd like to be in a relationship. I'd like to get married again, or at least have some kind of a relationship with a man. And there's part of me that says, well, no, you can't do that. You can only control what you can control, but you can't connect with other people. I see that Barbara maybe might have some of these same feelings.
Lucky guy is all I have to say.
Well, what you said earlier about the getting a massage or doing that, for older women, I really identify with that. So I'm not sure. I like living alone. There's a part of me that wants, I certainly don't want to get married, but there's a part of me that would like someone that I have closeness to. But there's this whole other thing of fear that says, oh yeah, but that's going to change that. And I don't want that. And I don't want that mess.
No, you need a lover, not a boyfriend.
So,
yeah.
But I don't know.
So you need to know what you want, Barb.
I'm never clear. I mean, I want both.
Well, are you clear? You want a lover, not a boyfriend. You're welcome. That's clear.
But not this.
Yeah, so done. You know how many men want that too? That's okay.
Well, I have a sister who's an introvert, married to an introvert, and she has what she calls her woman cave, and he has his shop. And they spend hours separate from each other in the same house, and it works great for them. Not everybody has a house that's...
You know, whatever works is a good thing. Most people never spend enough time thinking about what they want, but what they don't want. And then they think they don't get to have it. And maybe we should do a last round of tapping on that. They think that whatever it is they want, they don't get to have it.
Sounds good.
It's not accessible. Yes, Barb.
Well, one of the reasons I come here is I get some of what I want, which is the connection at a deep level with caring people. That's what I'm absolutely greedy for. So this platform provides that, a piece of that for me, but then you all go away.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should set this up differently with Facebook groups and other things, and where you guys can connect more and stuff like that. We can do that too. You know, that's, if there is a need for that, that might be another avenue to look into. But be clear on what you want. Okay, you can, and then you just go out and find that.
There's
Seriously.
a virtual hug for you, Barbara.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, karate to point. Even though I'm afraid that I don't get to have what I want.
I'm afraid that I don't get to have what I want.
Because what I got in the past was not what I wanted.
Yes, what I got in the past wasn't what I wanted.
I kissed the frog.
I kissed the frog.
It was a frog.
It was a frog.
Always was, always will be.
Always was.
Always was, always will be.
But that did something to me.
And that did something to me.
I believe that I don't get to have my prince.
I believe that I don't get to have my prince.
I believe I don't get to have what I really want.
I believe I don't get to have what I really want.
Maybe a part of me thought that I need to settle.
Maybe a part of me thought that I need to settle.
For what's available to me.
For what's available to me.
And I choose to release the thought.
And I choose to release that thought.
And even though a part of me believes,
and even though a part of me believes
that I don't get to have what I really want,
that I don't get to have what I really want,
that I need to settle for less.
I need to settle for less.
I need to have it in a different way.
I need to have it in a different way.
I can't get what I really want.
I can't get what I really want.
Just some weird version of it.
Just some weird version of it.
And I have to take a whole lot of bad with a little bit of good.
And I have to take a whole lot of bad
All of that
Little
with a
bit.
little bit of good.
And I'm very afraid of all the bad crap I have to take
I'm very afraid of all the bad crap I have to take
just to get a little bit of happiness.
just to get a little bit of happiness.
And a big part of my being
And a big part of my being
says, hell no, this is not what I want.
says, hell no, this is not what I want.
I don't want more trouble.
I don't want more trouble.
I don't want more chaos.
I don't want more chaos.
I don't want more arguments.
I don't want more arguments.
I don't want anybody to intrude into my life,
I don't want anybody to intrude into my life,
making me do things I don't want to do,
making me do things I don't want to do,
having requests that don't work for me,
making requests that don't work for me,
not allowing me to live the life I actually like.
not allowing me to live the life I actually like.
She says a whole lot about my life I like.
There's a whole lot about my life I like.
I don't need another person to make me happier there.
I don't need another person to make me happier there.
Well, this is a real conflict,
This is a real conflict,
but I love and accept myself anyways.
but I love and accept myself anyway.
Top of it, I am not ready to have my life changed.
I'm not ready to have my life changed.
There are certain things I want.
There's certain things I want.
Maybe I do want to get married.
Maybe I do want to get married.
And frog better turns out to be a prince.
Maybe the frog turns out to be a prince.
Maybe I skip the frog part altogether,
Maybe I skipped the frog part altogether.
because we all know how that ended.
We all know how that ended.
Maybe I stop kissing frogs.
Maybe I stopped kissing frogs.
And maybe I don't look for things I don't want,
Maybe I don't look for things I don't want.
and instead look for the things that I do want.
Instead, look for the things that I do want.
Maybe I start looking for only the things I want,
Maybe I start looking for only the things I want.
and just forget about the package that they come in.
And just forget about the package that they come in.
Because maybe that package isn't all that bad.
Maybe the package isn't all that bad.
Maybe it's actually pretty good.
Maybe it's actually pretty good.
Maybe it's worth looking into.
Maybe it's worth looking into.
Having a very different life in the future.
Having a very different life in the future.
Something I never thought I could have.
Something I never thought I could have.
Because I'm very clear that I don't want what I used to have.
I'm very clear that I don't want what I used to have.
But what if it didn't have to be that way?
What if it didn't have to be that way?
What if what I really need and deserve to have
What if I really need and deserve to have
had always been different than from what I've settled for?
has always been different from what I've settled for?
What if I settled in the past
What if I settled in the past
and not in the future?
and not in the future?
What if the settling past part is way behind me?
What if the settling part is way behind me?
I don't need to settle anymore.
I don't need to settle anymore.
There's no reason to settle for anything.
No reason to settle for anything.
I have earned the right to get what I want,
I have earned the right to get what I want,
to do what I want,
to do what I want,
to live how I want,
to live how I want,
to make a living the way I want to
make a living the way I want to,
touch the lives that I want to touch,
touch the lives that I want to touch,
and do the work that I want to do.
and do the work that I want to do.
Be connected to the people that make my heart sing.
Be connected to the people that make my heart sing.
I have that right
I have that right
and that responsibility.
and that responsibility.
I'm open to that now.
I'm open to that now.
I'm open to finding something that I always thought I couldn't have.
I'm open to finding something that I always thought I couldn't have.
Well, I always thought it's just for others.
I always thought it was just for others.
And maybe I'm not good enough.
And maybe I'm not good enough.
I'm open to finding something I thought I might not be good enough to get.
I'm open to finding something I used to think I wasn't good enough to get.
Because that was just a thought
That was just a thought.
that somebody else gave me for their own selfish reasons.
Somebody else gave me for their own selfish reasons.
Making sure that I feel bad about myself,
Making sure that I feel bad about myself.
that I feel small,
That I feel small.
so they don't have to stand up and grow.
So they don't have to stand up and grow.
And maybe all of this is over now.
Maybe all of this is over now.
And I realize now who I really am.
And I realize now who I really am.
Because that deep desire and burning inside of me
Because that deep desire and burning inside of me
has never changed in all these years.
has never changed in all these years.
I always wanted more.
I always wanted more.
Because a part of me already knows
Because a part of me already knows
that I can have that.
that I can have that. Thank you.
Lucky guy, I can tell you that. Seriously, I mean it. And I mean that for all of you. You know, do your thing. It's going to be fun to watch. And just spend some time thinking about what you really, really want. And you will see that door will open to get that. Okay? All right. Any last words?
Beautiful session, Ingrid. Thank you.
Of course. Look, I have your grandson in my prayers, okay?
Thank you.
He's going to be okay.
And all of you in my prayers.
I know that.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. See you next time, and stay strong and keep us posted, okay? Go to the Facebook group to watch this and let people know about it, okay? I think there are more people who need to know about this. See you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.